All right, so what's on the quiz tomorrow? One of the things is this increasing and decreasing and the rate at which they do so. Let me show you one of those. Let's say that we had this, and this is that increasing or decreasing? Decreasing at what kind of a rate? At an increasing rate, because if you look at, we're looking at the test on this, you'd say, how does it start? Look at the slope at the beginning. Is it kind of fast or kind of slow? Kind of slow. It starts slow, and then how does it end? Fast, so therefore it's an increasing. So check it at the beginning, check it at the end, see if it's increasing or decreasing. So again, if you saw something like this, is that increasing at an increasing or increasing at a decreasing? Increasing at an increasing, because it starts out kind of slow, ends up really fast. You look at the slope at the beginning and at the end, and it's increasing at a slower and then faster. That's an increasing rate. All right, let's do some of these. Everybody look at this. Here's a picture. Yeah, are they giving you the y or the x? Well, it depends. Gentlemen, here. Number one, if they say g of 2, they told me x. Know how I can tell? Because that's where the x always goes, inside the parentheses. If they give you the number in the parentheses, they gave you x. So all of these give you x up until here. And that one, they did not give you x, therefore they must have given you what? Okay. So they told me x is 2. If x is 2 here on this one, then I find x is 2, and then that's right there, and I follow it down, and I find where the dot is that goes with it, and they're really asking me for y. Y would be negative 2, so my answer would be negative. Would you please try number 2? In case you're counting to where x is negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's right there. And therefore the answer is 0. Raise your hand if you knew it was 0. Okay, good. And next one. 4 minus 4, it says. Can I just do that? Yes, I can. So 4 minus 4 is what? 0. And now I do g of 0. So what did they tell me? Did they tell me x or did they tell me y? So x is 0. If x is 0, that's right here. And I follow that up to that spot right there, which means y is what? 1. All right, next one. G of 4 minus g of negative 5. First of all, I find g of 4. Then I find g of negative 5. And then I will subtract them. So g of 4 is over 4 spots, and then that's the answer right there. Y is 1. Because they told me x. They want to know why. They told me x is negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's right there. So I follow it up, and y is 2. And then it's 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Now the next one, number 5, is where it gets trickier. I want you to give that one a shot. And I want to see who knows how to do number 5 and who doesn't. Yep. Please do number 5. You need me to number the graph? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, 5, 6. This is negative 7. What you're trying right now is this one. All right, so the first thing you ask yourself is, did they tell me x or did they tell me y? What did they tell me? Tell me y. Y is what? Y is 4. Now, if y is 4, then that's this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's the answer. But did they want to know the 4? No, they already told me that. What do they want from me? The x. And the x is what? So the answer is negative 2. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Good. Next one. This is the toughest of them all, and I want to see who can handle it. Always ask yourself, did they tell me x or did they tell me y? They told me y. Yeah, kind of, but then I don't want to have you lose the graph. See, I'll bring it back down to there. Okay? So ask yourself first, did they tell you x or did they tell you y? And if there's still an x in the problem, then they didn't tell you x. So therefore, they must have told you y, right? If they told me y is negative 2, I find y is negative 2, and it's right there. And I follow it over to the spot where it touches the graph, and it's right there. And what do I want to know about that? They already told me the y, so I want to find x. What is the x in that case? X is 2. So this point right here is 2 comma negative 2. So do you get that since they told me the y was negative 2, they're saying that the x is 2. But how can it be this? Only if x plus 2 was 2. This whole thing needs to be 2. So if x plus 2 is 2, then what's x after? 0. Nope. If x is 0, watch what happens. Put in a 0 right there. Do you get that I'll have 0 plus 2 makes 2? And then I'll have g of 2 equals negative 2. And is that really a true statement? G of 2 equals to negative 2? Yes, because x is 2, y is negative 2. It's right there. All right, I know that messes with your head. I'm going to give you another one of those and see if you can handle it. Let's say that g of x minus 4 is equal to all right. Mr. D in the red shirt. Since I'm on the recording, I'm not saying your name, but I know you. So tell me, did they tell me X or did they tell me Y? In this blue one I just described. Good. So Y is what? Y is 4. So I find on my graph where Y is 4. Can you see it? One, two, three, 4 is up there. So can you see I'm going to follow across to that spot right there? What's the important thing that I'm supposed to get from that? What X is, and what is X? So X is negative 2. Now, here's the mistake kids always make. So I'm putting negative 2 here. No, you're not. What are you supposed to do? Raise your hand if you know what to do. All right, so about half of you are to this point where you actually know what you're supposed to do now. What do you think, Alexis? Sorry. So this whole thing right here equals what? Negative 2, because we figured out that this has to be negative 2 right here for the x part of it. So negative 2 comma 4 is the main point we're looking at here. So this has to equal negative 2. Now think, what would x have to be to make that work? If I put in 4 there, do you get how it would be 0? So what do you think? X equal 2, that would work. So that's fine. All right. So moral of the story is you need to figure out what all of this is and then just set it equal to that. So all of that, x minus 4, that's equal negative 2. If x minus 4 equals negative 2, then x will equal, add 4 to both sides. All right. Now, I know that's tricky, but at most you have on like a 15 question quiz, you might have one question. And when you get wrong, you're going to be mad. So don't stress too much. We'll practice it again though tonight. Let's see if we can get you to get it. All right, take a look at that function. Absolute value of 4x squared minus 8 plus 1. F of 2. Figure it out. Stick 2 in there. Bam, bam. Get an answer. Okay, so here we go. If I put in a 2 right here, do I have to do it in any particular order or any way I want? In an order. Yep. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. So all of that comes out to 8. And what's the absolute value of 8? 8. Add 1. If you add 9. All right. If you didn't, do you understand what you did wrong? All right. Pause for just a second here. Got the little gap in audio there. Fair back now. All right, so what else do we have to know? This number 1 on the top here is one of the kinds that they make a little trickier. It's not really hard. You just need to know what order to do it in. Do you get that this 3 right here has to be multiplied by whatever f of 2 is? So you just start by finding f of 2. Once you've got f of 2, it's going to be easy. All right, so take some time right now and try f of 2, figure out f of 2. Whatever f of 2 is, times it by 3, and then subtract 1. Okay, this one comes out to 32, and here's why. F of 2, if I put a 2 in right there, do you get the 2 squared would be 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. You get how all that makes 16 right there? And then you subtract 5 from that, and what's that make? 11. So this thing becomes 11. Now I do 3 times that, which makes 33 minus 1, 32. All right, most of you had that right. Okay, next one. 6 minus 3 is just begging to be done, and you can do that. If it's in the parentheses, you can do it. That's one of those rules in math. Something in parentheses, if you can add them together, go ahead. There's nothing stopping you. So 6 minus the 3 is 3. So then it's really just f of 3. And that 3 then gets squared, which would make 9. 9 times 4 makes 36. And then minus the 5 makes 31. All right. So moving on, I think we've got the main idea here. If you were going to do this problem here, how would you start? Nope, can't cancel anything. You would multiply, but first you'd have to figure out this, right? Okay, so once you found g of 3, then you times it by 2. And on the top, separately, you figure out h of negative 2. See, it's got like 3 steps. You do the black part I circled first, then you do this red part here, and then you take 2 times whatever was in the black circle. All right, so just the order is the only thing that's complicated here. All right, now I'm going to do a little quiz with you that's sort of similar to the quiz that you're going to have tomorrow, and let's see how you do. We're not going to do the Centio version of it because Centio had too many issues last hour. Wasted like 15 minutes of our time dealing with stupid Centio stuff. We're just going to do this the old-fashioned way on an iPad. And just write down the letter you think is right for number 1. Don't say it. Write it down. You know what? You don't have to show me each of these. At some point, I might say zoom in. So why don't you make them like medium size so that if you needed to zoom in on them, you could. So first off, you can eliminate half your answers by just knowing that that's decreasing. Would you agree it's decreasing? All right, so then it can't be increasing at, and it can't be this one. So it's down to those two. So it's either decreasing and an increasing or decreasing and a decreasing. How many of you think it's B? How many of you think it's D? All right, D was correct. Decreasing at an increasing rate. Why is it increasing? Because here it's kind of slow, and here it's very fast. So as you go from left to right, it's increasing its speed. All right, moving on to number 2. Match the description to a graph. Decreasing at a decreasing. So it's A, B, C, or D. Right away, you can probably narrow it down. Decreasing. Well, this one's not decreasing at all. It's increasing. What do you think? A or... A is definitely decreasing. Now, how about that decreasing rate? Do you see how it starts out really fast? Because the slope is like almost straight up and down. So that's like super steep slope. And then this slope is much slower. So yeah, it's decreasing. That's it. Raise your hand if you had A. Good. Moving on. I'm going to leave you to think about this one for a minute. How many of you have an answer that would be the first letter in a fish that's supposedly really intelligent? Not a fish, actually. A mammal that's supposed to be really intelligent. Ah, there we go. So you're talking D as in dolphin. All right, good. I think dolphins are mammals, aren't they? All right. Moving on. That's pretty going way beyond what I was trying to say. All right, number 4. Decreasing at an increasing, then suddenly increasing at a decreasing. Ugh. All right. Well, again, you could narrow down so fast. As soon as you know it starts out decreasing, do you get it can't be this one? Because that's increasing. Same with that one. That's increasing. Now it's only a choice of two. That's what I'd do if I were you. All right, the little noise. You got it. Your phone is constantly going out and getting information. Like it's like, you know, checking for emails, checking for stuff, and the little signals that this gives off when it's checking for info messes up. It can happen even by computer speakers at home. If you've ever heard that kind of a noise, it's because you get it too close and right next to each other. And it won't happen all the time. That's one of the reasons it's really hard to like figure out what's going on. It's only when the iPhone goes out, or other phone goes out and checks for data, it sends out these like radio waves, and that's what you hear. So I didn't know that they could mess up a room key. Really? Really? You mean like a hotel room key, kind of? Ah, I didn't know that. Cool. It wipes out your subway card too. I suppose anything magnetic like that. Huh. All right, here we go. We are picking something decreasing at an increasing. Well, heck, there's really only one choice then, because right off the bat, decreasing at an increasing rate was not this one, because this one's decreasing at a decreasing, so it had to be out. So this is decreasing at an increasing rate, yes, and then suddenly that implies that super sharp change in direction, increasing at a decreasing rate, and it starts out fast and slows down, so that works perfect. Moving on. Find f of negative 2 minus f of 3, sorry. F of negative 2 minus f of 3. Now you always ask yourself, did they tell me x or did they tell me y? In both of these, they told me x. So you just need to figure out a couple y numbers and subtract them. So what is f of negative 2? They're telling me x is negative 2. If x is negative 2, then what's y? 0. That's how you start. So you get 0. This one right here is right there, and they don't want to know what x is, they want to know what y is. Y is 0 right there. So that's 0. Minus 0 minus what? What is f of 3? That's right there, and it's 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Good. Moving on. Here's some function stuff that looks really complicated. Just do it in the right order, and it'll be easy peasy. All right, so here's how I'd start. 4 minus 1 is 3. F of 3. F of 3, they told me x. X is 3. Look at that spot. If x is 3, what's y? 1. So that's a 1. Now it says times f of 4. I better figure out f of 4 before I go any farther. Always do that. Figure out the functions first. Now I knew f of 4. F of 4 is right here, and that's asking for a y. And the y is 0. So that's a 0. So I'm going to rewrite this. 1 times 0 minus 6. Now, does the order matter here? Yes, it does. So if you got two timeses, you would do them from left to right. We have a times and subtract. Comes first. Times. So I got to do this first. 1 times the 0 makes 0, and 0 minus 6 would make negative 6. Raise your hand if you had negative 6 for your answer. You're so right. Okay, good. Moving on. I think we did enough of that. That's basically the same question over again. This one's a little weird. I want you to try this one. Yeah, that's a hint when they throw values. So, Mr. Snake, do you know, did they tell you X or Y? I told you the Y. The Y was what? And therefore you have two answers. Since this is the place where Y is 0, that and that are both answers. How many of you have found both of them? Ooh, some of you would have got caught on that one. So -2 is one of them. And another one over there is 4. There's two answers, B and H. You get that? Because they're telling you not X, they're telling you Y. Y is 0. Y is 0 is this spot all along here. There's two places where that's true. All right, moving on. This one looks really complicated, but it's actually very easy. Find f of 2. Stick a 2 in there. That makes -12 plus 7, which makes -5. And then find f of 0. Stick a 0 in here. That's going to make what? 7. Add them. Easy peasy. All right. This one's a little trickier because it's one of those ones where you have to think. Yeah, I know. I hate that. All right. So on this one, they told us f of x was 4. So where we, they didn't tell us x, they told us y. So we put it right there. And that's where f of x was, right? So we put a 4 there. Makes sense to me. Then we subtract 7 from both sides, and we have -3 equals -6x. Divide by -6, divide by -6. And 3 over 6 is 1/2. X equals 1/2. Raise your hand if you follow that. Do you get what we did there? Okay, good. Then, 11. Find h of 3 minus 5. Well, it's really simple if you know that you can subtract the 3 minus the 5. And what do you get? So it's really just find h of -2, and then you stick the -2 in here. That'll be easy. Okay, moving on. Between what 2 points is the water decreasing the fastest? Okay, so this is about water in a bathtub. Time's always on the bottom. If you're going to have time in the problem, it's better be on the x-axis. So ask yourself, where is the water ever decreasing? Well, it's decreasing between C and D. That's the only place it's ever decreasing that has letters. So, there we go. That wasn't a real tough one. Now, if they'd have had a F, G, and H here, and G and H also would have been a spot it's decreasing, but CD would have been decreasing faster because it was steeper. And then they would be equal, and you wouldn't be able to ask which one was, pouring out faster. They'd be the same. If they would be a bad question, you wouldn't be able to say which one was going faster. They'd be the same. All right. Between what 2 points is the water increasing the fastest? Well, on this one, there is more than one spot where it's increasing. A to B or E to F. So E to F looks steeper to you? I agree. It looks steeper to me, so I would have said E to F. All right. And then there's one last kind, and this doesn't have a multiple choice question. It's just got a question. Read a graph and interpret what's happening in the real world based on a graph. Here's time and here's distance from home. Now, do you get that they're moving in section A? How do you know for sure that they're moving? The distance is changing. Yeah, it's increasing. Distance away from home is increasing. How about at B? A lot of kids get confused by B because they picture that being like moving at like the same speed or something because it's flat there. But think about it from the distance perspective. Is the distance from home changing? No. So you're probably just sitting in one spot. Now, there is another smart kid way to interpret that. If your distance from home isn't changing, how could you still be moving? Yes? Yes. And what kind of a shape would you be making at a circle? Because you could be going around in a circle and your distance from home wouldn't be changing, right? Kind of tricky, but it could happen. It's really, really weird. But okay. And then C, the only thing I'd mainly want you to know is that C is steeper than A, and therefore, what do we know about their bike ride? It's faster. Yeah, C, they're going faster than they were in A. How about E? They're going very fast. It's always about how steep it is. Maybe they're going down a hill. Yep. But do you get that they're going back to home? Because at the end, what's their distance from home? 0. At the end, their distance from home. Don't think, oh, what's this distance? That's time. That's not a distance. Their distance from home is right there. It's at 0. That means they're at home again. So this last part of their trip was really fast and constant, too. So it'd be kind of hard to actually have that happen in the real world. Because if you were going down a hill, wouldn't you agree that you speed up as you go down the hill? And then eventually you like top out at whatever the speed is you're going to be going, like 30 miles an hour or whatever, and you kind of stay there until you get to the bottom of the hill. So it'd be kind of hard to happen in the real world, but yeah. So we're starting at like 0 speed, and all of a sudden, instantly at 30 miles an hour, and you stay there the whole time. That's why there's a lot of curves in the real world on graphs. You gotta like speed up to get up. Okay, that's enough. So now you know what the quiz for tomorrow is like. You've seen it. There is that's not the quiz, but it's just like that. Okay, so we did a little practice. Shouldn't be that scary if you followed that. If you were really kind of lost on that and you want help, I'm here in the morning. The last thing is you have homework. Your homework is on the Schoology page, and it's called Review 4.1 to 4.3 or something like that. But if you look on the Schoology page under today's date, which is the 17th, there's only one logical assignment there. Use the PDF version. I know there's one posted as Word, but you can't write on those. You can type on them, but that's a pain in the butt. So I would encourage you to use the PDF version of the worksheet. It's under today's date, which is 9-17 on Schoology. Let's see if I can find it. So here we are, and here's assignments. Yes, I will put on the new show. Just give me 2 seconds to finish showing people where it is. It says assigned on the 17th, and then here it is. And then I'd pick the one that says PDF, that one right in the middle there. No. If you already did it, then you're ahead, but I doubt it. Okay.